Hey chat, it's Crafty Type 1, and on a random Wednesday, we got a Nintendo Direct for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and a bombshell drop of a bunch of new Steam information regarding hardware. In this video, we're going to be talking about that, because overall, my thoughts on the movie, it seems like it's going to be good. I can't really say much about it, and Nintendo has been copyright striking anyone that's showing off the trailer. But let's get into the juicy details on this new Steam hardware, because I am excited about this. Before we get into that, I am doing a Kirby Air Riders giveaway. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed, comment down below to get entered, and for every comment before the release date of Kirby Air Riders is one entry into the giveaway. I'll be doing a drawing live on stream during release day. So best of luck. Let's get into this cool information. So in case you missed it, Steam announced 3 different hardwares in a single day today. This just came out in a random trailer saying Steam hardware announcement, where they played it off at first as like a Steam Deck announcement, but then they announced 3 things. A new controller, which is on screen right now, a new Steam machine, which is like a console for PC games, and a new VR headset, which it all is absolutely crazy. And you're probably wondering, why am I talking about this? I'm a Nintendo oriented channel, but this is stuff that gets me excited. Honestly, there's 3 different companies I like, and you know, you could call me a shill. Nintendo is one of them. Apple products, I think they work well together, but Steam is up there on companies I love. I have a Steam account. I have way too many games on Steam. I have a Steam Deck. I am the prime person that they're selling to. I've had this Steam Deck for about 2 years. And honestly, I've been kind of wanting a Steam machine to play games on my big TV. And this is that. So let me take a step back. Let me talk about what was exactly announced. Of course, we just saw the controller. This is their Steam machine, and apparently can play games at 4K 120, which apparently, according to a lot of people who got to try it, is true, which is then 6 times the amount of power on a Steam Deck, and is a 6-inch by 6-inch cube game. They are really bringing that GameCube design back, and it doesn't look bad, and they add more customization ability with like the face plates and everything, but it looks amazing with that LED progress bar as well. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm really excited about this. But for your spec nerds out there, it's an AMD Zen 4 6-core and then a RNDA3 GPU. It seems like it'd be perfect for a TV Steam machine. And then lastly, they announced the Steam Frame, which I think is a really great name, but is their own VR headset, which I feel like VR has been in a really weird space. So I don't talk about my love for tech and stuff on the channel that much, just because, again, it's Nintendo oriented. But I do want to do more stuff other than Nintendo, and this includes this. But VR has been in a very weird spot. I know with like Apple's mixed reality headset. I know Samsung just made one. And then, of course, you have like Meta and what they're trying to do with the metaverse. But this just feels like it's built for gaming, and it is perfect. I have the original Oculus Quest. I haven't really touched it since like 3 years ago, and then again, I know there's like a lot of every headset now on the market is better than the original Oculus Quest. It seems like it's an ecosystem that'll just work perfectly and harmoniously, and also just like everything introduced is crazy, because they also, of course, this isn't them just making a handheld, or this isn't them just making a console. This is them adding their own personal flair. This isn't Steam or Valve making their own headset. It's them adding new technology to the space. Like they had like foveated rendering with eye tracking. And I'm not gonna get into all this, but again, these are all coming out in 2026. I'm not really a big tech guy. I'm not gonna be talking about tech things with you, just why I am excited for it. And I think for me, it's the ecosystem amongst the Steam Deck, you know, my home PC, which, you know, I play a lot of my games on, and then having that same library on my big screen TV. And yes, the Steam Deck can do that. And I've been thinking about this, like, should I even buy it? Because like I have the Steam Deck dock as well that does the same exact thing. And their goal is to make the controller plus Steam machine to feel like the Steam Deck. But this can't handle, like, let's just say if I wanted to try Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm gonna be drastically sacrificing my battery life for one, and two, just graphic quality. And I think that's what the Steam machine is for. Because honestly, I only really play indie games on here. Like if I go to my play history, like just where I was playing Megabunk just last night, playing Dispatch on here, Easy Delivery Co., Peak, Balatro, and then Silk Song, all on this system. And then those aren't graphically intensive, but I feel like if I ever wanted to play, let's just say Monster Hunter Wilds, and you know, if you guys are only strictly in the Nintendo space, you guys are not, like, this is definitely not to my core audience, but any sort of like AAA game runs okay on the Steam Deck, but can run better. And like, for example as well, take, you know, my father. I built him a PC so we could play Steam games, but we hardly do because like a PC isn't as easy as you think. And I think that's where this feels, if that makes sense. Like I could go out and, you know, he could buy it or I could gift it to him. And then we could play, have the massive library of PC games, but with all the walls taken down. He doesn't have to update them. There isn't any real drivers. It automatically gets all installed. It's perfect. I don't know why I was so excited about this, to be honest. This randomly popped up on my feed. I remember watching the new trailer for the Mario movie and then seeing this. I got more excited by this than I did with the Mario movie. So as I said before, I don't know if I'm gonna be picking up the new GameCube or the Steam machine, but I 100% will be getting the controller. The one bad part, weird part with this, you know, trailer of sorts is they haven't announced any prices yet. And of course we had people guessing what there could be. I'm gonna go over onto their website as well. They just launched this website along everything. But when it comes to prices and everything, we don't have any idea right now, according to them officially. But if I were to assume, the controller sounds like it's gonna be around $70 to $80, because Steam has already done a controller before, priced at around $50. But they, you know, of course, learned from their experience making the Steam Deck, and then, you know, what they wanted, the magnetic Hall effect sticks, grip enabled gyro. It is actually crazy. This controller seems crazy. I'm gonna be picking it up because right now I use a PS5 controller when I play my PC games, just because Steam as a whole does a pretty good job of translating button inputs as a whole with Steam input. And this is another thing. Like, I don't even need to buy the controller to pick up the Steam machine. I can just use whatever I want. But, you know, going through the website right now, I think, honestly, yeah, the controller is going to be like 70, 80, which is cheaper than competitors, but I could totally see it going upwards of 100. And then again, I think I'd still purchase it for 100. I purchased the Pro controller for, what is it now, 120? Again, like, this is what I'm talking about like Steam bringing ideas to, or I should say Valve, but, you know, Steam, Valve, whenever they're interchangeable for me. Bringing ideas that should be introduced to mainstay controllers. The cord is a magnetic dock that also acts as a low latency receiver, which is like mind-blowing just to think about. With this pair of headphones, actually, I have a receiver strictly for that reason, for low latency audio, because I want it to be wireless, but I also want it to be lossless, and I also want to, you know, it not clutter up everything else. And I love dongles. Like, as weird as that sound, I love receiver type dongles. Of course, next they showed off was the Steam machine itself. And honestly, again, this is probably the one I've gotten most excited about. It's a 6-inch by 6-inch cube. And I've honestly thought about doing a project where I made like a smaller Steam machine. I mean, at this point, I might as well go, I might as well just get this one. But yeah, 6-inch by 6-inch, dedicated, like like LED strip. This is also really cool. This could be used in a variety of ways. It could show you like downloads, updates without you actually having to go on, you know, onto the Steam area. Multiple ports, SD card slots, and everything. And it's a PC. So like, legitimately, I think this could be a really good stepping into point for someone that like doesn't want to get a laptop, because if the laptop and gamings don't really make sense, but also doesn't want to spend the money for a full-fledged huge desktop. And this is all built with Steam OS in mind as well. And that was another big thing when it comes to like big picture mode in Steam. It works, but it just doesn't sometimes too. And I feel like them designing specifically for bigger screens is good. And I think they even said that there's going to be a specific version of SteamOS, or like, you know, the operating system within Steam, specifically for, you know, big screen use, or, you know, the Steam machine. And then I don't think they've shown it at all. But yeah, this faceplate changes, which is, I think, is a great way, because this could fit in a lot of people's kind of entertainment space, just the cube itself. But also, I mean, you've seen with like the PS5, you could take off the panels, and a lot of people spray paint them or do something like that. And I think this is just perfect. And then lastly, like, okay, so I've talked about, I'm definitely picking up the Steam controller. I don't know if I'm going to be picking up the Steam machine. It depends on the price. The Steam machine, I forgot to talk about this, most likely is going to be like $700 to $1,000 based off of specs and what the Valve has said. They said that they weren't looking to compete in the console space. So that means, like, I don't think they're going to put 600, 700, because that's already what PS5 is. I mean, that's what, you know, the Switch is. They can't really compete with the Switch. That's what the Steam Deck's for. So like, your only real competitor is the PS5, and that's like 600 right now for the PS5 Pro. So I'm assuming it's at least 750. That's my guess for it. It would be kind of crazy and amazing. When it comes to Steam Frame, this looks amazing. If I really wanted to get back into VR, which right now, I just don't think there's enough games for me to like actively want to. Like for Nintendo, of course, like the reason why I have a Nintendo console is because I like Nintendo games and they only release it on there. But when it comes to VR games, I really don't know of any games that would get me to go over, besides ones that, yeah, I just can't really think. Like I'd play Minecraft VR. Stuff for content, I guess. This honestly depends on the price. I'm assuming this one's actually going to probably be like 500-ish, which is a pretty good price for it. Again, with a dongle, I think is really nice. Foveated streaming. There's eye tracking too in the headset, which is very nice, very nice. That is specifically for the Foveated. But yeah, I think a lot of people you could play games on the system that aren't even VR, so you could have like a bigger screen. But yeah, it is crazy now that they have a Steam family of system. I am super excited about all of this, and I would really like to pick up all of them. But again, it really does depend on the price. I'm 100% picking up the controller. I'm suspecting, because the Steam Deck was sold out really quick, these are all probably going to sell out. Probably, you know, the Steam machine is probably going to be the easiest to get, just because I don't think a lot of people have the money for something like that. I just would want a dedicated Steam machine for my living room. That's what my PS5 is right now, is to play games like Monster Hunter Wilds, Helldivers in better graphic fidelity, because I can't just simply dock my Steam Deck and then, yeah, play with that. But honestly, probably would sell my PS5 for a Steam machine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Again, doing the Kirby Air Raiders giveaway, so don't forget about that. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you tomorrow. Let me know if you like this change of pace. I know this wasn't really information, this was just me just geeking out, but like legitimately super excited for this. Yep, I'm CryptoTip1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.